So they're at war with France, and they go to take down this town of Harfleur. And at this point, this is one of the other really famous speeches from Henry V. And at this point, they've broken through the walls. And there's a breach in the wall, so there's a hole in the wall. But the French are still defending it. The French are still defending it pretty well. And so Henry has a little chat with his troopers. And this is a pretty famous speech. And he says, "Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead." So he's saying that hole in the wall, charge it. Charge it and either get through it or fill up the wall with our dead. And then he says, "In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility." So when things are peaceful, being calm and being humble is a good thing. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. So when war comes, never mind peace and calm. It's time to be like a tiger. And he says, "Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage." So tense your body and summon up your rage. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow overwhelm it. So what he's saying there is furl your brow and let your eye poke through your brow like a cannon, like a brass cannon sticking out of a porthole. As fearfully as doth a galled rock overhang and juddy his confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. So he's saying, make your brow overhang your eyes like a rock that juts out over the wild ocean. And then, now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit till its full height. So you know what that one is. Bite down, grit your teeth, flare your nostrils, take a deep breath and hold it in and bring every emotion you have to its utmost and like the tension on a bow. On, you noblest English, whose blood is fed from fathers of war-proof, fathers like so many Alexanders, having these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. So he's saying, listen, you gotta fight. You gotta fight. You Englishmen, whose blood is from combat-tested warriors like Alexander the Great. And those men have fought on this soil from morning until night, forever. And they only sheathed their swords when there was no one else to fight. Do not dishonor your mothers. Now attest that whom you called fathers did beget you. So don't dishonor your mom. Prove that your father, with his warrior blood, is really your father. Be copy now to men of grosser blood and teach them how to war. And that means be an example to the lesser man, to the weaker man, and show them how to war. And you, good yeoman, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. So yeomen were basically like the troopers, the foot soldiers and the archers. And he's saying, show us how you were born in England, and the pasture, that's where you were raised, like a cow is raised on a pasture. Show us what the mettle of that pasture is. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, For there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes. So no matter where these guys are from, no matter what level of society they came from, he sees the noble luster and the righteous gleam in their eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. Now, greyhounds, now we use them for racing. Mm-hmm. They used to be used to hunt, to run down animals. Mm. And a slip and this is one of those things, you've got to look this up. I didn't know this. I looked it up today. A slip is an old kind of leash that they used for hunting dogs that you could basically hit a switch and it would let the dog go. Mm. So here are picture these greyhounds that are in these quick release leashes, but they're straining on them, waiting to go on the hunt, to go and chase down their prey. And the next line is, the game's afoot. Follow your spirit. And upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George. So he says the game's afoot, meaning the animal that you're hunting, it's out there. Follow your spirit. And then go and get after it. And as you get after it, yell God for Harry, England, and St. George. And St. George is the patron saint of England, the dragon slayer, who was an executed Christian martyr. So you can see that there's so much inside these words. And he captures some of the brutality of war.